Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is that special time once again for the JMOR Tech Talk Show, and we'll be starting momentarily. This is the place to ask those questions about PCs, technology, problems with your iPhone, pairing it to your car, and much more, including those smart devices at home and in the office that are supposed to make life easier. We welcome your questions live during our show tonight, and please help me welcome the CEO and founder of the JMOR Connection Incorporated and the star of tonight's show, Mr. John C. Morley. So tonight's show, again, this is John from with the JMOR Tech Talk Show. We're going to talk about social media tonight. And last time, if you remember, we talked about social media, and it was actually pretty good. The only challenge we had was that when we were doing the, let's say we were talking about it, we realized there was a lot of questions that popped up for people. And one question was, how do you handle social media? I mean, there's so many different kinds of social media out there. Last time we talked a lot about Twitter, if you remember Twitter. So I'll just give you a little recap about Twitter. And then I think we're going to go into talking about Instagram. So Twitter is not my favorite of all the social media platforms, but it is useful for a lot of people. The thing about Twitter that a lot of people don't like, myself included, is you have to do a lot of work to keep promoting everything, because when something happens in Twitter, it's like gone immediately. And that's really the problem. So as we're talking about this and all the different kinds of social media and social networks, one of the biggest challenges that we have is knowing what to do with social media. So Twitter has, as we mentioned before, it has the home, it has moments, it has notifications, it has messages. So home is pretty straightforward, but just to recap everyone, and then we're going to go spend a lot of time on Instagram, but I know we just covered Twitter fast last time, so I want to cover a little more. So if you go to home, you're going to see a little thing that has your logo if you put it there. You're going to have an @ and then the username. In fact, ours here is @JMOR Connection. We have another one for @JMOR Radio, but I just happen to be logged into @JMOR Connection. Tweets, we have, right now it shows the number of tweets, the number of following, and the number of followers. So the number of following is the number of people that I'm actually following. The number of followers are actually the people that, so if you, right now I've got the number of the number that I'm following, okay, and then the number of followers. So followers are the people that are actually following me. Now, when we think about this, the important thing to understand is that your follower count, okay, followers, is probably going to be lower than your following count, but you should have it higher. If your following count is a lot higher than your followers count, you're doing something wrong, and you're following way, way too many people. I mean, that's the problem. You see, what a lot of people do is they do things unethically. What do I mean by that? Well, they ask you to follow them, and then as soon as you follow them, they stop following you. I mean, I think that's just really rude, and I think it's very unfair. But people do it. They do it on Twitter, and they do it on Instagram all the time. Well, the reason it's a challenge is because it's more of a pain to have to go through and figure out who didn't follow you. There's some services that charge for it, and it's just a tedious process, and they realize most people are not going to go through this particular process. That's really what it's about. So we have the tweets, the following, the followers, and then we have something here that says trends, okay? And what trends is actually our, it's like what's actually popular on Twitter right now. I'm looking at Twitter now, and Kelly Ober is trends. Scandai, Grey's Anatomy has got 18.4 thousand tweets. LaVar Ball, Supernatural, I Am a Pre-Existing Condition, That's My Point. So here's my point. If you were to come up here right now and do something such as, That's My Point, okay, so right now that's trending. That's my point. And by you doing something like that, here's what's going to happen. by you do something like putting "that's my point" in like a hashtag, and then "that's my point," and you want to keep it the way it is, and this happens to have a capital M and a capital P, so I put that in there. I also want to put some other hashtags in there, like I'm going to put NJ. Remember that, the nice thing about this is that you can actually hashtag lots of different things. Now, as you type pound and then the hashtag, it's automatically going to find it in your list unless it's something, really bizarre. But again, the nice thing about this is that you can go to your other stuff that you may want to, let's say send something on. And what you can do in Twitter is really cool because you're able to actually take things and you can paste them right in. For example, I'm just going to take something from our Instagram account. I'll show you how to use Instagram in just a minute. But I'm going to go ahead and just grab something really quickly from our Instagram account. It's really easy. I'm just going to pop something in here right now. And I recommend that you keep the same email address for everything. Otherwise, you're going to go bonkers trying to remember the email address and trying to remember the password. I mean, that's really what it's going to be about. So we're going to get Instagram in just a second, but I'm just going to go ahead to and take one of my posts, and I'm going to go ahead and put it into Twitter. And now normally the post is very, very long, so I'm actually going to go to Google and I'm going to type in URL shortener. Okay, that's what I'm going to go to, and then I'm going to go to the GOO. It's actually GOO.gl is the shortener in case you wanted to know. So I'll paste that right in there. I'll say I'm not a robot. And now it's saying select all the squares with street signs. I gotta tell you, this is a lot better than trying to decode those stupid numbers where you have to actually, 6, 7, Ray 7. What the heck are they trying to say? What we do on our website is we just ask people to do up to 8th grade math. Add, subtract, multiply, and divide. So I had to do this twice because it asked me to verify 2 signs. Again, making sure I'm not a bot and that I am a human being. And the nice thing is, see, Twitter actually, as we said, with 160 with the username, so the 140 without the username. So I'm going to paste that in there. And I still have 63 characters left to go. So I can do things like RT is, for example, retweet. I can hashtag RETWEET and retweet. I can type in, like, for example, there's tweet New Jersey, okay, retweet, and again, so you can basically click right on that. I mean, handy little thing. What I want to tell you is that when you put something in Twitter, unfortunately, it's not going to take effect. Think of Twitter as like an API newsfeed, okay? And if you put something into Twitter and it goes by, well, that's it. It's gone. It's really gone. And it's an issue. So right now I type this in here, and I'm going to click on tweet, and within a second it's going to go ahead and push that tweet out, which it just did. So I always like my own tweets. I do that. Now everyone who is actually following me, or my followers, actually got this into their newsfeed. Very similar to the way Facebook works, which I know you're familiar with. Now, in Twitter, I have, I have the option in the far left under whatever I've tweeted. Okay, so if I click on that option, so if I go back to, let's say I go back to one of the options here, and I can reply to, so it retweets and it replies to. Then we have another one here that says retweet this to your followers, okay? So reply to is a little bit different. Reply to only replies to the person that posted it. What they really want you to do is they want you to like it and they want you to retweet it, which is where it goes to your newsfeed. Replying does not go to your newsfeed. That's really important. So when you follow somebody, it's really important that you stay social. For example, there's one person on here, and he makes a very good point. And he talked about the comment about this. Yes, he mentioned something about Henry Ford. I just mentioned this yesterday, and he basically said that if you think you can if you think you can, then you can. If you think you can't, then you're also right. That was Henry Ford. So, you want to try to be social, and you definitely want to. You definitely want to. Put stuff in there to try to thank your person. So this way, you're following people. They're following you, and then you're putting stuff back in there. And so this particular one, I just said, I just mentioned this yesterday. Great point. And I put here, I wish more people. Now remember, whatever you hashtag, I'm just going to put more people would believe this. Whatever you hashtag is how things are going to get found. That's pretty much how it works. So I'm going to click on tweet right now, and it's going to put that back out. Now, right now under my hashtag, it's funny. So there's certain things here that are on the hashtag. And if I go ahead and I type them, they'll pop up automatically. And there's so much stuff that actually changes as we're looking at Twitter because it changes so fast. And, if you hashtag the right things, okay, like I'm in New Jersey, I'll hashtag NJ. If I want to type in New Jersey, for example, there's a hashtag for New Jersey, okay? If I want to type in business, hashtag business again. It's better off to pound it and then look for it in the list, then you're typing it correctly and you're finding something that actually exists. So that's really important. Otherwise, what you may be typing may not necessarily be something that's maybe something that's really mainstream and that's really going to help much. Again, so you look for words that are common in the trends, and you don't want to make something up, but if you could get something around one of those words. For example, Grey's Anatomy, I told you, had 19.2 thousand tweets. So if you could say something about Grey's Anatomy and encompass your message in there, well, you're doing a great job, because it's all about, getting exposure. And then again, I'll just tweet that out. And now I've just sent a couple tweets while I was talking to you. So right now, a couple other people posted some things here. There was one here about grow your followers. They're talking how to grow followers on Facebook. Again, I always tend to like my own posts. That's definitely a good thing to do. Now, if you look through your content, I was explaining before, you will see the content there. Now, right now, there's a one that I typically like. It says tomorrow's relationship, today's dollar. And, she put something here, and she's actually talking about networking. She talks about networking tips. So I'm actually going to come over here, and I'm going to type in networking tips. But in addition to that, I'm actually going to type in, because I'm actually running an event, a business mixer event, which I'll tell you a little bit about. So many of you probably, that are in business and that are professional salespeople, actually are probably tired of just getting, let's say, business cards, flung at you. I'm sure you are. So what I devised to do is create something called professional business dating. Yeah. So what is that? No, we're not going to find your spouse for you. But what we are going to do is help you to find the right people that you may choose to do business with, such as help you to understand that as you're dating a business, which is really what you're doing, you're kind of interviewing them, and they're interviewing you, and then we teach you how to court them, and then when the right time is to make a proposal. I mean, so many people actually will spend so much time, and then they won't actually do the proposal at the right time. And because of that whole situation, it causes a problem. Now, so this little thing here, this is a great tip. They talk about networking tips, NJ. I'm going to go ahead and type in NJ here, two ways, New Jersey as well as New Jersey with the hashtag spelled all out. And then I'm going to go ahead and just do the RT for retweet. And I'm going to put my little short URL shortener by Google. And again, I still had some more space. So again, very good, very easy. And, the whole thing is you have to stay active on Twitter. If you don't stay active on Twitter, as I mentioned to you, your thought is yesterday's lunch, because it's just not going to go anywhere. And I'll tweet that out. Now, I just tweeted 3 things out in just a matter of a few moments. Now, I know that sounds pretty easy to do, and it really is. But the whole thing is you want to be a responsible tweeter, and you want to find content that you'd like to share with your community. I'll just try to show you. They have something on here that says, are you getting the customer experience right? And then it's a software company, it's a promotion. And so there are promoted tweets, and you can see those as well. And you could choose who you want to follow and who you don't want to follow. Really easy and really simple. And I know we've talked about that before. There's one nice one here. It says, conquer fear every day. Okay, that's a nice tweet. I'm going to go ahead and like it by just hearting it. And it'll show that I like that particular tweet. So again, there's another one on here just showing that black light and holograms are amazing. They can hit up the best fake ID plug so they can catch them. So that's just something there. Again, I'm just trying to explain to you that Twitter is not something you're going to sit down, put something in, and then walk away from. Twitter, you need to spend a lot of time, and you've got to basically babysit your followers. You've got to watch content. You've got to comment on things. You've got to like certain things. That's really what it's about. And then what you have to do is try to tie your relevant content into something they're talking about. What you don't want to do is tie content into something that is not going to be, let's say that's not going to be, it's not going to be followed by what you're talking about. I think that's probably the most important thing. Now, right here, I'm just happy to notice that Kindle on Athletics, this girl, Jenna, she did great in her softball hitter. Best softball hitter in the state. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to like it, I'm going to retweet it, and what I'm also going to do is I'm going to put here at KHS Sports. I'm going to click on it right there, and I'm going to say, way to go, and I'm going to go ahead and type in her name, okay? So again, very, very easy, very, very simple to do. Very easy, very, very simple. And if you click off of it, it'll just take you off the screen, but it won't get rid of your tweet. You just click on there. It hasn't been sent out yet, and I can see exactly what's going on. Who's the best sophomore softball hitter in the state? Can you cast your vote now? And then they have a little place you can go. And so her name is Jenna, so I went there and I basically said, way to go, Jenna. And I'm going to say, keep it up. Great playing. And then I'm going to tag it also Kinnelon, New Jersey, and I'm just going to put sports, and then I might put school in there too. School sports, which is actually a tag. So you'll get more familiar with what the tags are, and then I'm going to lead it by saying the website JMOR.com, just so that sticks in there, and I'm going to tweet it. And again, people like it when you retweet their stuff. They really do. They like it when you like their stuff, but they really like it when you tweet their stuff. I'm going to give you one more example. So there's a gentleman here. His name is Mark. He's actually a national speaker. I've had the chance of being in many of his presentations. I've actually was in a limo with him a few years ago on the way to the airport. And he talks about something very interesting. How do you sell past the gatekeeper? And he has a little thing about how to get past the gatekeeper. When making big sales, you got to get to the decision maker to make your presentation. If you're making your presentation to the gatekeeper, well, guess what? Then you're not going to get it right. So I'm going to retweet his tweet and say right here, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call out to him by doing an @ His name is Mark Such, and I'm going to click on. So an @ is like a call out. Now you can ask somebody for a call out, which is really cool. People like that. So I'm going to do @ his name, and I'm going to say hashtag excellent concept. And he talks about, it's easier than you think. And then I'm just going to put here, yes, people just need to apply themselves more. Okay? And I'll tag it with our website on there too. And again, we retweeted that back out. He'll like that. He'll see that. He may eventually like and comment on some things that we do. And that's pretty much how Twitter works. But again, keep in mind that once something, let's say, sinks past the lips of somebody on Twitter, somebody could miss it. So people are not going to go through and look through thousands and thousands of tweets, okay? Right now, I just got a notification. And I got a notification here, and it says, I got a notification here because I did a mention, and I mentioned them, which is the call out at their school, and it shows the mention right there. It also shows me people that are following me, and I have a thing on my site where I always tell people, that I will follow them back. So I check here when it gives me any kind of alert, and I typically will follow any back so long as their content is not X-rated, since it is a business site. Sometimes people do that, and as soon as I find that, I immediately stop following them because it is a business site. We've got people here there was a horse racing tip, and it's supposed to be funny. It has a curse word, but it is bleeped out. So, all right, and it's on a national business site. So again, I think Twitter has its purpose, but the problem with Twitter is you're just got to be married to Twitter so long. That's really what it's about. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, you stay right where you are because we'll be right back after this quick break.
Computer slow at your home or office? Pop-ups always appearing. Pairing iPhones to cars. Setting up smart devices like thermostats. Technology was meant to make life easier. We know technology, and we have a passion for helping people with theirs. Connect to the JMOR Connection now, jmor.com, or call us toll-free at 877-767-5667. Mention code JRC005 and receive a PC tweak for only $49.99. New clients only, please.
And welcome back to the JMOR Tech Talk Show right here on the Starcom Radio Network, Thursday nights at 9 p.m. I'm John Morley, your host, and you're tuned into the JMOR Tech Talk Show. And if you're just joining us tonight, we're talking about social media, and in particular, this is part 2, we're talking about Twitter, and we're talking a little bit about content. Now, if you log into your Twitter account and you go to where it says Profiles and Settings, you'll have an option to view your profile. You'll have something that says lists, okay? So it says if you're a member of any lists. Right now I'm not. Then there's something called moments, which we didn't talk about. So moments are curated stories about what's happening powered by tweets. So you can create your own story with Twitter moments. Once you do, it shows up in this specific spot. So it's nice because somebody coming to your profile and say, gee, what are their moments? And you can build a nice little portfolio of a whole bunch of different tweets, even if they weren't your own. But, you always give credit for that. There's a help center. There's something called keyboard shortcuts. I'm going to go through all those right now, but you can see them. They're pretty easy. If we come down a little bit more, Twitter ads. This is where you can sign up for Twitter ads. And surprisingly, Twitter ads are very expensive. Again, when the Twitter ad goes through, they go by so many impressions. It really takes a while to get people that are paying attention. Think of Twitter as like an advertising sign, okay? And if you don't have a lot of people watching that sign, just like I was telling you about the AP Newswire, what's going to happen is you're going to miss it. So with AP Newswire, there's always people watching their screen to see exactly what's going on. But if they're not watching their screen, well, then, they're going to miss that. And some people, I will tell you, will pay, depending on, I know we would do wires, you could be talking anywhere from, let's say, $50 or $100 for maybe just to go to one particular county. You could be talking a couple $100 for a state or more. And then you could be talking even more if you're going to a specific discipline. And then these API things are just coming right across the screen. Now they're going to email, but it all goes across the screen. You have analytics, and then you have settings and privacy. Let's jump in there. So you have in there, you have your username, you have your email address, you have your time zone, and then you have your login verification. After you log in, you want Twitter to send you an SMS message with a code that you're going to need to enter to access the account. I don't think you need to do that, but if you're paranoid, you can do that. Require a personal information to reset my password. So if you click the box, you'll be required to verify additional information before you can request to set a password. For example, with just your username, you can have a phone number in your account, and you may be asked to verify the phone number before you can request a password, do a password reset with just your email address. So again, they had some nice little features in there. Video tweets. Do you want videos to automatically play in timelines across the Twitter website? If you want them to play, you can. You can enable that. Otherwise, you can turn that off. That might be annoying. Timeline. Show me the best tweets first. That's always best to do. And you can request a file containing your information starting with your first tweet. A link will be emailed to you, and when the file is ready, you can download it. So you can request your archive. So all your information starting with your first tweet. So again, that's pretty. And then there's deactivate my account. So we have account, we have privacy and safety. Protect my tweets. If selected, only those that you approve will receive your tweets. Your future tweets will not be available publicly, and tweets posted previously may still be publicly visible in some places. Now, we already have enough trouble on Twitter trying to get people to respond. Why the heck do we want to protect our tweets? Maybe you're doing this because maybe you're doing a research project and you don't want people to actually see something that's confidential. Well, that's your problem. Tweet location. Do you want to add a location to tweet? When you tweet with a location, Twitter stores that location. You can switch a location on and off before each tweet. That's up to you. Okay? We have something here called allow anyone to tag me in photos. Only allow people I follow to tag me in photos. I think that's probably a good policy, or do not allow anyone to tag me in photos. Because if they don't follow you, don't let them tag you, right? So discoverability. Let others find me by my email address. Let others find me by my phone number. If you want to be discovered, yes or no. Okay? Manage your contacts. So that's where you have your contacts, and we talked about that before. If you don't have any, you won't see any there. So just giving you a little bit of idea. So then we have personalization. Tailor Twitter based on recent website visits. You could say do not track, which I have set by default here. Promoted content. Tailor ads based on information shared by ad partners. Kind of like the Google thing, so they kind of learn how to promote things to you. Yeah. You'll probably, you may want to turn that on or off. That's totally up to you. Twitter for teams. Allow anyone to add me to their team. Only allow people I follow to add me to their team. And I'm going to put that one on there. So again, very interesting on how that works. Okay. And then you have direct message. See direct messages for anyone. You'll be able to see direct messages from anyone on Twitter. But I don't recommend that. If you don't follow them, and this box is unchecked, they can't DM you. Okay? And I think that's going to really cut down a lot of spam, because you really don't want to get messages. And people that you follow out, somebody say, hey, thanks for the follow, which is nice. But then they send you this long thing. Hey, say, by the way, I hope you enjoy my content. Then they send you all this BS about, by the way, we have this sale. Well, that's kind of like, I don't know, I kind of consider that spam, and I think that's wrong. But, so again, that goes into back of my ethical conversation about social media, but that's a whole other conversation. Tweet media safety. Display media that may contain sensitive information. I have it unchecked by default. Mark media, I tweet as containing material that may be sensitive. So what that does is, if the one box is off and something comes in that's sensitive, you'll have a link to say, allow the sensitive content from this person all the time. So anyone comes in from this particular Twitter account will actually just be shown to you. Again, other ones won't. Mark media, I tweet as containing material that may be sensitive. So mark media I tweet as containing material that may be sensitive. So if you tweet that and everything you do is probably sensitive, that's a good idea to do that. A lot of people on here should do that because I think they're just ridiculous. Text notifications, do you want to get... You don't want this, trust me. Tweets from people you've enabled for most. So you can get all your communications about who tweeted, who liked you. I mean, this could get annoying. I had one person that was getting like hundreds and hundreds of emails because every time they like something, every time they follow something, I was just getting ridiculous. Notifications, you can even do it on you have mobile notifications, text notifications, then you have it on email notifications. You have it in two places, and then you have mute notifications. Mute notifications you don't follow, who have a default profile photo, who haven't confirmed their email, who haven't confirmed their phone number. Okay? So what does that do? Well, if they haven't confirmed their phone number, there's probably a chance that they're spamming. All right? So I know I'm giving you a lot of information, and then we're going to jump over to Instagram, but I really wanted to make sure that, we had an understanding of how Twitter works, and it's really pretty neat. So you can do the feature called Search Friends. Search your friends on Gmail and Outlook, and it'll automatically use the API built in to do that. You can mute certain accounts. Right now I'm not muting any accounts, but I can choose tweets from your timeline. You can choose to mute them right from the timeline. You can also unmute them from here. Muted words. If someone says when you mute words, you won't see them in your notification or timeline. Okay, so if you choose to mute words and you add them, let's say there was certain content you don't want to see, they will just not show up in your timeline at all. Blocked accounts. You block these accounts. If there's accounts you want to block, so you can block tweets, but you can also block accounts, especially if people are being really, really disrespectful. Widgets. So you can actually, you can create new widgets. Widgets like profiles, likes, lists, collections, and search. You can do all that with the API. You can get your Twitter data, so you can see what's going on and analyze it. And then you can also go down to where it says accessibility. Here's where you can turn on image descriptions, compose image descriptions. It has the ability to describe images for the visually impaired. And then we have video autoplay. Remember that. So we had that in another spot, but it's here too. So videos will automatically play in timelines across the Twitter website, regardless of your video autoplay settings. And the GIFs and the videos will always autoplay in moments. In fact, they say vines, but I think they meant to say videos. They actually misspelled that. So I guess Twitter needs to fix that. But anyway, so if this is on, even if your other setting is off, it will override that setting. So again, so we had the home, we had the moments, we had the notifications, and then we had the messages, which is where the direct message is. So if you want to direct message someone, all you do is click right on their link, and then over here, all you have to do is click on that. Now, you can basically message somebody, you can tweet to them, or you can message them. So basically, that was that feature I was just telling you before. So it's really easy and it's really simple to use. You can also go to top and type things like NJ if I'm looking for certain things, and I can find it right there. Really easy and really, really simple. If you're looking to get followers, you can do things like follow, and you can see follow for follow back, team follow back, things like that. But be cognizant, ladies and gentlemen, if you decide to add that to your profile, make sure that you really do what you say, because nothing pisses off a Twitter user or a social media user when you tell somebody you're going to do something, and then you say, oh, I'm just not going to do it. So I make a habit, even if it's not every day, but I always follow people back that follow me, and I put it in my profile, follow for follow, so people know when they come into my profile and they look at my profile, they can see immediately what it's about. Very, very easy and very, very simple. If I come over here to where it says edit profile, I can come right here to the very bottom. And if I have follow for follow in there, which I have, F for F, and there's other ones you could do. Now, if you have that in there, that means that people are actually going to find you, and they're probably going to follow you in the hopes that you're going to follow them back. So if you have something like that in your profile, please make sure that you do what you say you're going to do. So I think that's it on Twitter. I think I've covered a lot about Twitter, and I could always spend more time on it, but I think you're getting the idea. Twitter is a feed, all right? And similar to Facebook, the feed is a lot larger, so if you follow more people, it's like going to be going and going and going and going and going. And so that's why you want to be careful who you follow, because if you have too many follows, you also should have some likes too. Moments are good. That's where you can build things where people can see a little bit about you, what you think, and it works really, really nice. The other thing I wanted to share with you is that you can look at your tweet activity. It'll tell you your tweets earned so many thousand impressions over the last week. It'll tell you can point to each one. It'll tell you how many impressions that you got on that particular day. On the right-hand side, it says who to follow. Well, what that's basically saying is these are people we recommend you follow. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're good. It just means based on your profile, they think those are people that you probably should follow. But again, I have to tell you that it's really it's really hard to get people to follow you immediately on Twitter, unless you do the follow for follow. And follows, because remember, the more followers you get, the greater chance you're going to have. Think of it like the more followers you have, the more billboards you have. That's probably the best way to think of it. So there's one up here right now about dental care, okay? Now, this dental care, what I'm just looking at, and if I want to look at where these people are out of. See, the thing about this is that I always say you should put, where you're out of, where you're from. And this particular one here, does it tell me? Yes, they have a link in there, and they actually have a website. and it looks like they're trying to they're basically trying, yeah, they're basically telling us how to do different types of things and how to get rid of a toothache. So he's just trying to sell that and sell a book, and he's actually out of London. I can see his location right there. We see the little map symbol. So again, I get a lot of people that follow me from outside of the United States. It's funny, a lot of the people outside the United States, Canada, other parts of the world, sometimes I find they're more compelled by my content than people right here in the U.S. Now, that doesn't mean that people in the U.S. aren't compelled to my content. It just means that they seem to be, I don't know, they just seem to be more apt to social media. I think overseas just tends to be like that. They've been a little ahead of us for a while. I mean, we're kind of behind the 8 ball, to be honest with you. That's pretty much it on Twitter. So let's jump over to Instagram. All right. So you learned that in Twitter you don't actually want to have any kind of long URLs. Why? Because you only have the 160, really 140, and then 20 with the username. But if you're thinking about, doing a real good plan where you want to catch people, the best way to do that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be using Instagram. Now, Instagram, I got to tell you, it's a little bit of work, okay? It's not a 5-minute process. And what I do is I shoot videos every day. So our particular Instagram account, you can find any of these at our main website, by the way, and just going under social, and then you'll see them right there. But our Instagram account is just Go Social JMOR. GOSOCIAL JMOR. So you go to Instagram.com, and then you can just type in Go Social, all lowercase, so / Go Social. And by default, it defaults to the language of English, which is good. So when you create an Instagram account, it basically asks you for some pretty basic information. It'll ask you for your username, your name, and it'll ask you for your phone number. So you can create the account either from the app or you can create it online. Now, the way Instagram works is it's all about pictures and videos. So the thing is this, you can use Instagram on your computer, but there's one thing you can't do with the Instagram on your computer. You know what that is? Well, you can't actually add video content from your computer. You can only do it from your phone. You also can't add pictures from Instagram. Why? I don't know. But they feel that everything should be done from the phone. And that's perfectly fine. I have no issues with that. So you download the Instagram app, you log in, and one thing I will tell you is make sure you keep it closed because it does tend to use a lot of resources, particularly on your phone. And, you don't want to have a dead battery. That's pretty important. So you can launch your Instagram on the phone or wherever. So once you've launched Instagram, it's pretty easy. You're actually going to see on your mobile phone, you're actually going to see some things at the top. You're going to see your story, and then you're going to see other stories to the right of it. Now, right now, if I click on, I'm going to go ahead and click on the very bottom right icon, which is a picture of a person. That'll show me the number of posts that I've made, either video or pictures, the number of followers I currently have, and the number of following I have, okay? Remember, you always want your followers to be higher than your following. You know what they don't tell us? They don't tell us the number of likes there. It'd be nice if they had that's something they should have had on there, but they don't. So I click on where it says followers. I can see all the people that are following me, okay? Really easy and really simple. Following, those are all the people that I'm following. And I do check on a daily basis to make sure that people are not unethical. One of the things I think I told you a long time ago is that what a lot of people like to do is they say, oh, let me go follow all these people. And I have no problem with that, okay? My problem comes in is when you say, oh, I'm going to go ahead and unfollow. And they follow me, I'm going to unfollow them. That's just a jerk move. I'm sorry. If you're going to do something like that, that's below the belt. I mean, you really need to, if you don't want to follow someone and, you want to unfollow them, because there's a reason, but if they've already followed you, and now you unfollow them, I mean, you're just being a jerk. I mean, that's just, I'm sorry, that's just wrong. And eventually it's going to catch up with you. What I'll tell you about social media is that it doesn't stick overnight. it takes time. It's a progression of building, all right? And, so now you know a little bit how that works. Let's go ahead and click on the button here, the home at the bottom right. So I have my story, that I have one business over here with a story. So what does that mean? Well, the people I'm currently following have, there's only one person that has a story. Before there were more. They may decide they want to take their story down. It's not current anymore, or the people I'm following don't have a story. I think it's really important to have a story. And the story is what gets people to want to follow you or not, if they don't want to go through all your posts. So, you'll launch Instagram. It's pretty easy to do. You'll see it says getting started. You can connect with Facebook, find contacts. You can add a profile photo if you like, if you didn't have one. And then right now we have some people here that there's one company that's doing logo design. Okay, now one thing you don't want to do, ladies and gentlemen, is you don't want to post 3 times in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's something that's just wrong. Okay, and I'm not going to say anything this time, but if they do it again, I'm going to politely just let them know that, we've seen your message. I mean, it's here once, it's here twice, it's here 3 times. I mean, I'm sorry. I think that's just really bad. Now, an ad just came up right now just as I was here, and it got posted once. The general rule of thumb, I think if you post twice a day, you're okay. People say don't post more than 5 or 7 videos per week. That's okay. Twice per day is okay, once in the morning or once at night, but don't be posting the same darn thing. And don't post again like something that is just totally offbeat. I mean, I'm sorry, that doesn't make any sense. So here's a gentleman here from a lawn and landscaping company. He's posting his business card. I mean, it's okay. It's not really original, but it's okay. This guy that posted this other thing really is kind of annoying me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 posts? Really? Really? You're really serious? Everyone else here is kind of complying. I actually like this one over here. This one here is it's actually a content, which I think is kind of cool. Now, it's a sponsored Instagram, but it's nice. It says the true meaning of friendship. I'm going to like it. Friendship is important. So you can go through it, and generally you can catch up with your Instagram because there aren't millions and millions of posts unless you're following thousands of people. What I find is bad on Instagram is if you're not going to produce consistent quality content, just get off Instagram. Do the world a favor. Instagram is here for you to not plagiarize, but for you to come up with instant content. If you're going to share something that's not yours, give them credit for it at least. Okay? Or like, hey, I found this video online, or I found this great. Don't take credit and say it's yours. That's just wrong. I mean, this one company here, I'm not going to mention their name, but I mean, they've now posted the same stupid slide, I'm going to tell you, at least 10 times over the last 5 days. I'm sorry. That's just wrong, okay? And now I'm looking here. Now, the other thing that should happen is if you're following somebody, okay, especially if it's someone local in the town, they should follow you too, okay? So so right now, this particular one, guess what? I can't message them. You know why? Because they don't follow me. Yeah, I know. That's how that works. Same rule as in Twitter. So you can post videos on here, and a lot of stuff on here is not very new, actually. The stuff that's on here is, I mean, there's only like 5 or 6 things new from this morning. There's not a lot. So you want to like things with the heart. You want to choose the direct message. If you want to DM them for a message, you want to send a text. One of the things that's kind of a pet peeve of mine, and I'm not being petty, please understand here where I'm coming from. If you're going to do this following nonsense, okay, which I understand you're going to do it, and you got to post original content, okay? But if you're just going to play the following game, don't wait for people to follow you and then you unfollow. I mean, that's just so bad. I mean, it's just really bad. And if you post good quality content, you're going to get people to like you. Also, people are not going to follow you just because they like you. They might like you for a couple days, and then they either might stop following you, or they might say, oh, they're going to start following you. And just because somebody follows you, don't feel you have to follow them unless you have a follow for follow in your profile. In my Instagram, I don't have that in my profile. In my Twitter, I do. A lot of times when someone has a very high follower ratio, and I look at that, and I see that their content's interesting, and I see they've liked me a few times, I might reach out and follow them, and then they'll probably follow me back. I usually will follow someone for 4 or 5 days. If they haven't followed me back in that period, then I'll probably unfollow them. That's usually what I'll do. But you gotta be ethical, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, that's really what it's all about. So Instagram is a great social platform. It's free that lets you get the video story out about you and your business. But it's not just about businesses, ladies and gentlemen. It could be about your life. It could be about your family. It could be about a hobby you took up. It could be about a shopping experience. I will tell you this, though. If you're going to post a video, you'll notice that all the videos that I post are only of me or anybody that's in my video later on. They will have a release from me that they will have to sign. And because you don't want to get sued because of 2 reasons. One, don't want to get sued because people say, hey, I never got compensated for that photo. So we have to have a media release. And the second thing is, they can say they claim to cause harm or something. We're not putting anything bad or defamation of character on there, but we need to get their permission. Maybe they said something and now it's on social media. And, well, you told the world about that. Well, I got your release and you said it was okay to release that video. So, again, just cover yourselves. If you're going to shoot video or take pictures, please, for your own sanity and your own legal protection, make sure that you have a media release. Talk to your attorney and get a media release. They're not terribly expensive. And make sure that you get the right media release for whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's your personal or business. So that's how it works. There's also another button here called a press and hold. You can have it and save it to your collection. There's a little flag on the side. And so that's handy. And now the next thing is, how do you put video up there? Well, when you touch, there's a little magnifying glass at the bottom. And that works actually online too. So it searches things around, or you can type stuff at the top and it will find things for you. There was one particular gentleman that said, oh yeah, follow me, I follow everybody. Yeah, he follows everybody, and then he gets you to follow them, and he doesn't realize that half the people are not going to be able to have the time to go back and unfollow. So that's why people always say those kinds of things. That's really what it's about. And then you have the plus sign, or you have the camera at the top. So you have the camera at the top, and then you have right in Instagram, you have something here called the plus sign, okay? And what's the difference? Well, the camera at the top is actually just where you can take a picture. It's not really anything really crazy. The other picture at the bottom, the plus sign, is where you're actually going to get something where you can add, you'll have cancel, you have your video, you'll have library, you can pull from your phone, you have photo, and then you have video, okay? And the camera actually will show the video of both of those sides. If you touch the little, if your camera does two-sided camera, you can touch the little 2 arrows, one pointing in basically a clockwise. It's pointing clockwise. Actually, it's pointing counterclockwise. Really, they're both pointing counterclockwise. One's pointing at the right, and the other one's pointing right behind, like a little round circle there in the counterclockwise position. So that's how that works. And if you touch it, it'll actually show you the other side of the camera, which guess what that's going to be? That's actually going to be you, the person that's looking at the camera. So that's how that works. Now, in order to record a picture or video, you just set what you want to set. Library, photo, or video. Libraries from your phone if something was already on there. All I do is I hold the little circle in the front. As long as I'm holding it, I actually have 1 minute to make my recording. And that's all I do. And then when I'm done with that, I'll go ahead and if I'm happy with it, otherwise I can delete it and re-record it. I can next it, and then I can put all my hashtags again. Remember, make sure you do your pound and what you're putting in, because if you don't do that pound and you just start typing hashtags, 2 things are going to happen. Everything's going to bunk and butt together, and nothing's going to work when things get searched. And the other problem you're going to have is you're just going to have a whole mess, okay? So when you're putting words in to be followed, make sure that you put the words in so that, they're easy to be picked up. You can research the words right when you're there, pound, and you can see what comes up in popular hashtags. Think about what you're really doing so that you hashtag stuff that's actually going to make a lot of sense. If you do that, that's half of the work of being found. But so many people just throw a video up there and go from that. So that's how Instagram works. You have to be diligent. Like I post twice a day. I always post twice a day. And that's what it's about. If you're going to be someone that's not going to post religiously, then you're definitely going to have a problem. I mean, that's really the issue. They want to see people that are posting consistently, posting interesting, quality, compelling content that they want to follow, that they want to like, that they want to share. That's really Instagram is about. And it's making a very, very big comeback right now. It's been around for a little while, but it's becoming popular for businesses now. It really is becoming popular. And I think what you're going to see as we move on into the end of the year, Instagram is going to become even bigger than a Facebook and other accounts, because Instagram right now allows us to have social media and take it very easily and simply from our phone, but it's all about 99% of Instagram is all videos. There's a few pictures here and there, but it's basically all videos. That's what it's about. So I hope that you have found tonight's show a very interesting show. I think you'll find that it's definitely going to change, and social media is going to make a big comeback for us. And I know that you're going to be very happy if you choose to be involved with social media. Now, don't tell people what time you go to the bathroom. Don't tell them when your doctor's appointment is, what time you picked up after your dog, what time you're going down to pick up milk, what time your car appointment is. We really don't care about that stuff. We care about stuff that's interesting and compelling and stuff that's going to inspire us to be better people or better versions of ourselves. That's what we care about. I mean, let's face it, a lot of people that are on social media are really thinking about themselves. So what I try to do is give them content that's actually going to make them like themselves even more and make them feel really good about themselves. So that's what it's about. Well, listen, ladies and gentlemen, this has been a great evening. I need to run. We'll see you next Thursday on the JMOR Tech Talk Show at 9 p.m. Eastern. Have yourself a wonderful week. From all of us at the JMOR Connection Incorporated, we'd like to thank you for listening tonight and invite you to join us again next Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Be sure to tell your friends, colleagues, and associates about the JMOR Tech Talk Show. We're here every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, and we're taking your calls live right on our show. If you missed any of our shows, you can visit JMOR.com, and under social area, you can actually listen to previously recorded episodes. We'll see you next Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Thanks for listening, and have a great week.